Choose the sword, and you will join me. Choose the ball, and you join your mother in death. You don't understand my words, but you must choose.
Truth is our dogma. We believe it to be man's greatest weapon against the devil, who is...
Let me ask you this. When they brought us from Africa, what part of Africa did they pull us from?
You know what? We didn't all come from Africa.
Okay, that's understood. But most of us did.
Was already here.
Some of us were. Watch that B. That B might be B on you. But a bunch of us came from the west coast of Africa.
It wasn't that many, really.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Really?
Yeah. Now you gotta think.
You know, if you think about it, okay, how long was that journey? How long was that journey from there to here?
It's about maybe 2.5, maybe 3 months.
Okay, now, how do you feed that many people the way they had us packed in there like sardines?
Well, guess what? When you look at the numbers or the estimates of how many of our people died on the way here, it numbers in the tens of millions.
That's right.
But a lot of our people made it over here.
Yeah.
Okay? So, for example, I'm going to share with you this. There's a book written by a European who went over there. You know the Europeans carved up Africa for themselves. Yeah, French, Africa, Dutch, Africa, English, all of that, right? So when this European went over there and studied West Africa, he noticed that a lot of the West African tribes, like the Fulani, the Yoruba, the Bantu, the Ashanti, so on and so forth, he understood that they had a lot of Hebrew customs. So he wrote this book called The Hebrewisms of West Africa. Because our forefathers, just being straight up with you, we migrated from out of the Middle East and went into the different parts of Africa, especially the west coast of Africa.
You know, in the Quran, it says, you don't have to go too far into the Quran. It says, love all of those that I sent here to give you good guidance. And it says, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Lot, Noah, all of them. You know, God didn't just send one thing here for people.
So I got to ask you this question though, because the last prophet, according to Islam, is who? The last prophet that gets the utmost respect, according to Islam, is who? Muhammad.
Yeah.
What tribe did Muhammad come from? If you study your Islamic religion. If you study the Quran, it mentions his tribe. Do you know? He comes from out of Ishmael.
That's right.
He comes from out of the tribe of Ishmael, who were related to Abraham. Okay? Yeah. But prior to that, all of the prophets, all of the ones that you mentioned, from Abraham all the way down, were Hebrews. Now, the funny thing is, now when we come down to all of the prophets, even after the one that they call Christ, all of a sudden now an Ishmaelite, not an Israelite, but an Ishmaelite comes and says, I'm the last prophet. But all of the prophets before him, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, all of these prophets were of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
So when you made the statement, you said, well, look, Israel really didn't do much. Yes, they did. The nation of Israel paved the way. We were the line of the prophets. Then Muhammad comes in and learned. He actually learned from Hebrews. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
That's right.
So, for example, when you said, I don't eat swine, I don't eat shrimp, I don't eat lobster, that didn't come from the Quran. The Quran was written in the 7th century. The Torah or the Torah precedes that.
Yeah.
And that's where the dietary laws found. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So Leviticus 11 and verse 7 says what?
Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud.
So what?
He is unclean to you.
You see that? So that's where Muhammad got that from. Like, so for example, the day that you rest on, what day did you rest on?
The angel sent the Quran to Muhammad.
The angel who?
Gabriel.
They say Gabriel. So the angel Gabriel, all throughout the scriptures, only visited the children of Israel. I want you to understand that. All the prophets, he came and he visited the prophets of Israel.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden it switched. Now here come Ishmael, or the son of Ishmael, Muhammad, saying that now I'm the last prophet. But all of the prophets that's written is Israel, brother. Yeah. So that shows you something.
Okay, so what are you saying?
What I'm saying is this. Even in the scriptures, it tells us that there is no other book that can compare. in the Quran, it tells you that you must go back to the books of Moses. All right? So
It don't say that in the Quran.
okay.
Yes, it does. I need that.
Okay, hold on.
Get me Surah chapter 2. This is in the Quran right here. This is the Al-Baba Quran, the cow, right? You familiar with that, right? I'm going to read something to you. It says, O children of Israel, remember my blessing which I bestowed upon you, and fulfill the covenant you made with me. I shall fulfill the covenant I made with you, and me alone you should hold in awe. All right? So even in your Quran, it speaks about the children of Israel. And the one that you call Allah is telling the children of Israel that, look, you must fulfill the covenant that I made with you. So when we talk about Muhammad makes a claim that he's the last prophet based on a prophecy that's written in Deuteronomy 18. You're familiar with that, right? So you know that that's a falsehood when you really study that, because all of the prophets had to come out of the children of Israel, not Ishmael. You understand what I'm saying?
Qualified to be a prophet.
You know what I mean? So when you go further into your Quran, you'll see it's telling you. Like right here, it says, verse 47, O children of Israel, remember my blessings which I bestowed upon you, and that I exalted you above your contemporaries. This is in the Quran. So he said, I exalted you above your contemporaries, meaning the other nations. You understand? And that's what we go back to, my brother. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that, but like I say, all that is division.
Well, not
Now,
really.
like I say, I like it better the way it reads in there. Love all of those that I send here to give you good guidance. I mean, ain't that the bottom line?
Understood.
The bottom line is.
Let me ask you a basic question. Like, if you study basic history, when you look at what the so-called, now the Arab is who gave us Islam. We have to be honest with that, because Muhammad was an Arab, right? So do you know before the transatlantic slave trade took place on us in the 15 and 1600s, that around 1,000 and 1,100 that the so-called Arabs spread us through what's called the trans-Saharan slave trade, where they spread us through the Middle East, India, so on and so forth. So they forced the religion of Islam on us by the sword, just like the Romans forced the religion of Christianity on us by the sword. But our ancient forefathers were Israelites. We were Hebrews. We didn't follow Christianity. We didn't follow Islam. We set the stage for the true worship of the Most High. But these other nations that came on the scene and then inserted themselves, the Romans, the Arabs, so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, regardless of all of that, who do you pray to?
We pray to the Most High, Yahweh. That's his name in the Hebrew. And he's our Allah.
That's God, right?
That's our power.
Is that God?
That's our power. But let me ask you this.
There's nothing else but God.
But let me ask you this, though. Have you made your Hajj?
I haven't gone.
Why? You know you're required to do that. You know you're required to do that.
I mean, if you can afford it.
If you can afford it. So, no, that's a part of the stipulation. If you can afford it, that's a part of it. Unfortunately.
You know, everybody can't afford it.
Yeah, so everybody can't afford it.
That's a long
But I have to pose this question to you. When you go and make that Hajj, where are you required to go?
Mecca.
Somebody give me a passport.
Mecca.
On your phone. You're supposed to go to Mecca, right?
Mecca.
So when you get to Mecca,
you go to the house that Abraham built.
The house that Abraham built, right? So you must go around the Kaaba, right? And when you pray 5 times a day, you face Mecca towards the Kaaba stone, right? Deuteronomy 28:64. Huh? The Kaaba stone is actually in this place. You recognize this place, right?
Yeah.
That's the house that they say Abraham built. But there's a gigantic black stone in it called the Kaaba stone. You know that, right? Now, why would the Most High God want you to bow down and pray towards a rock?
Well, it don't say pray towards the rock. It don't say that you should have any spiritual association with that rock. That rock fell in Abraham's myth.
Okay, but that rock fell from space.
That he had some connection with God. That's what that stone said.
But here's the thing. The Most High does not want us worshiping any image,
nothing
whether it be
than
stone,
God.
whether it be whatever it is. And what these Arabs have given us is actually pagan worship. But this was prophesied to take place, brother. Check this out. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Most High shall scatter thee among all people.
He shall do what?
Shall scatter thee among all people.
This is why we have faced slavery, brother. Through the slave trade. He said, I'm going to scatter you among all people. Read.
From the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there shalt serve other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone.
He said, you're going to serve what? Other gods.
Yeah, well, I don't worship other God. I worship one God.
We know that you worship one God.
That's it.
But here's the thing. The Christians believe that they worship one God, right? They believe that they worship them.
That's right.
Who do they believe in?
They believe in the God that
they pray to Jesus, though.
That's right. Just like you pray,
I don't pray to Jesus.
but you bow down 5 times a day. You must face
God.
Mecca
To God.
and pray to that Kaaba stone. So he said
No,
you
I'm
shall
not
do what?
praying to a
Even
Kaaba
what?
stone.
Even wood and stone.
Notice
I'm
that.
not praying to a stone.
Read the God's part.
I'm praying to the Holy Land.
And there shall
Where everything came from.
But it didn't come from
Everything
Mecca,
came from
brother.
that area.
It didn't come from Mecca.
It came
Jerusalem.
from that area.
Jerusalem is the Holy Land.
You know, that's all irrelevant. What it does, it divides us.
Okay, let me show you something.
And that's what the man did to us.
Let me show you something.
That's all he
Get me
made
1
the
Kings
Bible.
8:44. Let me show you
division.
something. Let me show you
He
something.
started separating this religion from that one, and then hey.
So the European gave you the division of Christianity. The Arab gave you the division of Islam. So they are the ones that actually divided up everything. Now, I'm telling, we spoke on earlier, Muhammad copied from the Hebrew.
That's right.
So just like you know not to
he
eat
didn't
pork,
copy it. He got that from God.
but I'm gonna show you
And
something.
all of it came from God.
I'm gonna show you
Every book
something.
that comes came from God.
But I'm gonna show you something. The reason why you bow down and pray to Mecca 5 times a day is based off of what we got right here in 1 Kings 8:44. Read what you got.
Like I said, I'm
First
not
Kings
praying
chapter
to-
8
I
and
don't
verse
pray to
44.
myself.
But just check this out real
I
quick.
don't pray to
If thy
myself.
people go out to battle against their enemy, whithersoever they shall send them, and shall pray unto the Most High toward the city which thou hast chosen,
Wait, towards what?
and
Read
pray,
that again. Can be clear read now.
and pray unto the Most High toward the city where thou hast chosen, and toward the house that I have built for thy name.
So notice this. This is King Solomon. King Solomon was not talking about Mecca. He was talking about the house that he built, which was in Jerusalem.
That's right.
So he said, if you pray towards the city that he has sanctified for the Most High, which is in Jerusalem, then what? Read.
Then hear thou in heaven their prayer,
Then
and
hear thou in heaven their prayer. But here come Muhammad saying, okay, I see what the Most High wants us to do as far as prayer. No, we're not going to pray towards Jerusalem. We're going to pray towards Mecca. And then I'm going to put a stone here
That's right.
that fell from the heavens. And I'm going to claim that this is a representation
That's
of God.
right.
So now we are actually following and worshiping things that's contrary to the Most High.
That's right.
So all we saying, brother, turn back to your heritage.
Oh, you got one already? Okay, all right, yeah.
There's no division in that. We're trying to bring these 12 tribes back together.
That's right.
These other nations divided us up with this fake religion.
That's right.
But you are a chosen Hebrew of the
right.
Most High. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to front on your religion or nothing, because I was a Christian. But it took for the Most High to wake me up and study real history to see who we were according to history and according to the scripture.
That's right.
And then he opened up the door for us to get the real understanding of how to worship him. Like, so for example, on so-called Friday, that's a day of rest for y'all, right? But guess what? You know what Muhammad got that from? Now get me Exodus 20 and 8.
That's right, bring it
Let
out.
me show you where he got that from.
Yeah, well, like I said, he didn't get it from that. You know, all these religions are related. They all related.
But I hear
I mean,
you.
you know, you keep trying to get around. One God sent all of these different books.
Listen, only
And
he
guess
gave.
what? Guess
Who did
what?
he choose?
If you raise 5 kids, you can't raise it with exactly the same number.
That's a fib. If
got-
you a man of your own.
You
stick
got
around,
to
guys.
give these kids something a little different that relates to that kid for learning.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
Not that it's different.
Now they might learn
It's
different. They might learn different, but here's the thing: you being the head of your house, you're gonna set rules. You're gonna set parameters. You're gonna set a diet to like how we eat. And all of those children, for example, if you cook a meal and you put that on the table, they all got to eat that meal.
That's right.
I'm talking about the way you teach the kids.
I understand there's different ways to teach, but we're talking about the code of ethics of that house will be followed by the state who sets it. Read it. Read what you got. This is not okay. We're gonna share with you. This is a book called Babylon the Timbuktu, written by one of our brothers that went to Temple University and various other universities and studied our history. All right, read what you got. Let me show you what it says.
It says the Prophet Muhammad adopted many
That's
principles
my sign.
and laws
And we can stay right here. We're going to show you what the word is.
Did you
No, don't. Go ahead, read that.
Babylon to Timbuktu. It says the prophet Muhammad adopted many principles and laws from the Jewish religion.
Oh yeah,
It
you're
said
gonna
what?
get this.
It says the prophet Muhammad adopted many principles and laws from the Jewish religion.
Okay,
He got it from God.
no, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
First of all, the basic idea of monotheism, which is the belief in one God.
He couldn't read.
So,
He couldn't read
so,
that
so,
book,
so let me ask you
He
this.
couldn't read Hebrew.
We understand he couldn't read
So,
it right.
so where did he get it from?
He got it from the Vatican. I'm going to just be honest
No,
with you.
he didn't get it from the Vatican.
That's where he got it
The
from,
Vatican wasn't there yet.
Okay, you know how that's a fit?
No, no,
I'm going to tell, hold on. What was his wife's name?
No,
What was his wife's name?
He got it from God.
Okay, but what was his wife's name?
Was it Fatima?
No, not Fatima. That was a daughter. What was his wife's name? Khadijah, right?
Khadijah.
Khadijah was a Roman Catholic
The
nun.
whole thing right there.
Oh, come on.
That destroys
Look that history up.
That's the truth,
Here,
man.
here,
I
read
mean,
this
what
right here.
Read
That
it.
whole thing.
Read it
Hey,
up.
how you gonna have a Christianity coming up?
Christianity was started in the 4th century before, you know what I mean? Before Muhammad was born.
Okay, that's right.
That's right? Read what you got, huh? Bring it
I'll
out.
read this whole paragraph for you. All right, the prophet Muhammad adopted many principles and laws from the Jewish religion. First of all, the basic idea of monotheism, which is the belief in one God.
Prior to that, the heirs believe in 360 gods. Prior to that, read.
The Jewish confession of the unity of God is Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Ahad. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah our God is one.
So the Most High Yahweh is one. This is where we get that idea from because it starts with the Hebrew. We the ones that understood that there was only one God.
That's
read.
right.
The Muhammadan slogan is as follows: La ilaha illa Allah, Muhammad Rasul Allah. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the prophet of Allah.
Read.
Muhammad adopted also the main details of the Jewish calendar.
Of the what?
Of the Jewish calendar.
And this is why I asked you, what day do you rest? You rest on Friday.
Yeah, well, like I said, Abraham believed in one God.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is long before Moses.
Absolutely. We understand that.
So, okay, where did he get it from?
Abraham, he got it from the Most High. But remember, the promise was made. Abraham was the father of Ishmael. That was his first son. But the Most High was like, no, he's not going to be the son of the promise.
That's right.
Isaac is the son of the promise. Then come Jacob. Then come the 12 tribes. But here come Muhammad, who comes from the son of Ishmael, saying, no, we're going to take this back over. So it really goes back to the 12 tribes. That's all we're saying.
That's right.
That's right. Continue reading.
Muhammad adopted also the main details of the Jewish calendar. The Day of Atonement.
The what?
The Day of Atonement. The Sabbath.
Uh-huh.
Much of the Bible and narratives from Midrash and many points of the ritual law.
You see?
Incidentally, the Jews pray 3 times a day facing the city of Jerusalem.
Facing what?
Facing Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
And the Muslim true believers pray 5 times a day facing the city of Mecca.
That's right.
Trying
It's all in the east.
Huh?
It's all in the east.
But guess what? The Most High said he
I mean,
placed
you don't make just one little city or whatever a holy place.
Well, how y'all gonna
That
say
whole
Mecca?
area.
Well, how y'all say Mecca is then?
I don't necessarily say that.
Okay.
You know, every religion that was sent where? Of the east.
Okay.
The heart of religion come out of the east.
No
It don't
question.
matter whether it comes from Israel or Mecca or whatever. It came out of the east.
But all we showing you, Elder, all we trying to show you is the originator. It's coming from out of
Well,
Jerusalem.
that's not even relevant.
It is relevant. If you bowing down praying to Mecca every day, I bet you don't bow down and face to China, do you? I bet you don't face to Tokyo when you bow down and pray, do you?
No, I don't.
Because you make sure to pay homage to Mecca because your religion told you to do so.
The east.
But you're facing Mecca.
Yeah.
We face Jerusalem.
You still face it east.
But I'm not facing Mecca.
Yeah,
and
well,
I'm not
you
facing
know
no
what?
goblins.
You don't know where in the hell you face it.
Yes,
when
I
you
do.
face it.
Go ahead.
Because it's not that critical. They that close. All that area.
Mecca
it's
is in
all
Saudi
right
Arabia,
together.
Elder.
It's all close.
Good, go ahead.
I'm gonna finish this out for you. Let me finish this out real quick. Trying his best, Muhammad sought to convert the Jews to his new religion.
His what?
To his new
Well,
religion.
a lot of them converted too.
By the sword.
But to
Let's
no,
not forget that.
Yeah.
It was by the sword.
No, it wasn't.
It was by the sword.
but to no avail. The Jews were adamant and resistant to change. The high esteem which the prophet held for the Jews was transformed to enmity, and instead of allies, he looked upon them as competitors.
That's right.
Muhammad needed the confirmation of the influential Jews to validate his mission, and all upstarts needed the backing of someone influential.
That's right.
Muhammad therefore turned against the Jews and became their tormentor.
That's right. And that's why he took us in the trans-Saharan slave trade and spread us throughout the Middle East as slaves. And then you know what he did? He got with that European and he said, these are the people of the book. This is what he said about us in West Africa. He said, these the people of the book. They're given to the curse. Get them. And the Arab and that so-called African and that European got together and snatched us up and brought us over here, fulfilling biblical prophecy. Go ahead, Al.
You said something earlier, right? We had 5 sons. When you raise them up, they're not going to do the same thing, right?
No, it's not so much of that.
You said that, all right?
In education, they raise all kids with the same exact.
Okay, watch this.
But that's not good. It's like them kids are different mentality.
But you said that, watch this. Now, Ishmael grew up in the house of who? Ishmael grew up in the house of who?
Abraham.
So he knew the laws, right?
That's right.
Yeah, well,
But he chose to go against the laws. Just like you said.
Ishmael he grew up on the Abraham?
Yes. That's why he left.
I wasn't aware of that.
That's why he left. They chose Muslims. That's why they left.
Like if you study the history of the Arabs again, Elder, they had 360. The Kaaba, that house of Abraham, housed 360 gods before Muhammad came onto the scene. Muhammad came on, he said, no, we're going to do away with this. I'm going to set this stone right here, and this is what we pay homage to.
No, it didn't say we're going to pay homage to.
But that's why you praying to it, though, Elder. We know that you're doing it in ignorance, but that's what we're doing. Just like when we was in our ignorance, this is what we believe. When we was Christians, we thought that this was a representation of the one they call Christ. Right. So just like you bowing down to that stone, we bow down to this.
Down to a stone.
When you pray 5 times a day, 12 Mecca, that's what you do.
I bow down to God. That's what I believe in, God.
I believe you do.
To God.
But there's certain things that you're doing in ignorance.
Well, it's not ignorance to me because if I'm not doing it, if I'm not bowing down to a stone that's in Mecca in the Kaaba, I'm praying to God.
But you
still, I don't care.
You know that Ishmael claimed, that Muhammad claimed that this stone came from the heavens, and it's from Jupiter, and it's a representation. But that's what that's the history of it, though. And he said that this rock came down, and now it's a representation of Allah. And this is why y'all bow down towards that house and have to go to the Hajj to walk around.
Not a representation of God, but just that he had a connection.
Who, Muhammad?
Yes.
Okay, we hear you.
He had a connection. Moses had a connection with God.
But here's the thing again. You name Moses, you name Abraham, you name all these different prophets. They're Israelites. And here come an Israelite named Muhammad, another nation claiming to be a representation of the Most High. Israel was chosen to teach all of these other nations. And that's all we're sharing with you. This is why the Romans came and destroyed us. This is why the so-called Arabs came and destroyed us and used the sword and forced that Islam on us. Just like the Christians forced it on us with the sword as well. And that's just a fact. When them people that brought us over here on them slave ships, right here, what were they? They was Christians. The Ku Klux Klan are Christians. Them Europeans that brought us over, them Protestants, were Christians. And they had us enslaved.
Have you ever been there?
I'm going to be honest with you. Personally, my brothers right here, I can't get a pass.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I can't get a
pass.
pass.
They don't give you no respect.
Who don't?
The
so-called Jew?
Right,
you know why? You know why they don't give you no respect? Revelation 2 and 9. They don't give you no respect because their historians know. Like, what did this book title say?
Jesus was a black man.
The 13th tribe. How many tribes is in the nation of Israel? It's 12. So these so-called Jews, they realize that, wait a minute, our history really don't go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and the 12 tribes. So we got to be the 13th tribe.
That's right.
That's why he named this book that. And he was a so-called Jew, and they put him to death. But guess what? The Most High called these so-called Jews out. Read what you got.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
So the Most High was talking to the real Israelites. He said, I know your works, your tribulation, and your poverty. Everything that we deal with as a nation, he knows about it. But what?
But thou art rich.
We're spiritually rich. This is why you say, I believe in one God. Because in your spirit, you want to serve the one and true and living God. All we're trying to do is show you to get back to it in a proper way. But notice what it said. Read.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
So he said, I know the blasphemy of them that say what?
say they are Jews,
but what?
And are not.
But are what?
But are the synagogue of Satan.
So the Most High, he called them out. He said, I know the blasphemy of them saying they Jews, but they're not. They're the synagogue of Satan. So these so-called Jews that live in Oak Park, that's in our land right now, that went over there in 1948, they're not real Hebrews.
That's
the
right.
true children of Israel, listen, this is in the Smithsonian right here. This is an image of ancient Israelites. Do you see their hair?
I know who they were.
You see they big, my brother, do you see that? Do you see this, my brother? What that look like? What kind of hairstyle? Braids or locks, right? The so-called Jew don't do that. You know what he do? He put on a black hat.
Yeah,
he put on a black suit. And then he put the little Shirley Temple curls on the side. This is what he does. Because he can't do this naturally. But these are Israelites, my brother. This is an image of ancient Israel in the Smithsonian. They know ancient Israel was a people of color.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Read what you got.
Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9. Behold, I will make of them of the synagogue of Satan.
The synagogue of who?
The synagogue of Satan.
The so-called Jew runs the porn industry, Hollywood,
That's
the
right.
diamond district. You name it. They bring in the whole nine. So they the synagogue of Satan. They don't do nothing but push evil in this earth. They run a financial system, the whole nine. Right, Reed?
Which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie.
They do what?
They do lie.
Read.
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
So eventually, these so-called Jews, they're going to come to the so-called black man, who they use as a market for gain.
That's right.
It's coming, Elder.
I'm waiting.
But guess what? In order,
When that happens,
but the thing is, the only way we're going to experience that, Elder, is if we truly turn back to the Most High and start keeping His commandments.
That's right.
And then so we can be a part of that remnant. To come
That's
out.
right.
I'm not going to get caught up with the rearrangements that everybody was saved in religion. I'm going to worship the one God, and that's it.
So all we asking is to come up out of Islam, Elder.
You know, a lot of things that Muslims do, I'm not 150% with.
Right.
I'm not 150% with.
Okay.
But I am 110% with God.
That's all. Listen, as long as you strive to keep His
When
commandments,
everybody
Elder.
else can get their program together and make it very
That's all
clear,
I'm saying.
then I'll be there.
No doubt. And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
But we got to keep the commandments, though, Elder.
Yeah.
So just like you keep the dietary law, we got to learn how to properly worship Him.
Yeah.
We got to learn how to keep His holy day.
That's right.
Now, I know you keep Ramadan, right?
Yeah.
That's nowhere in the scripture. But the Day of Atonement is there. You see what I'm saying? Passover, Pesach is there. Tabernacles is there. You know, these particular holy days. But here come Muhammad giving us something different.
See, what we like to do here is take some time to free your mind. That is if you don't mind. 1, 2.